After turning 40 last year, becoming a dad, and coaching a lot of guys in my shoes, what I've realized more than ever is the following. Most men in this chapter of life are missing two things that would make them a lot more stress-free, more confident, more focused at work, better husbands, fathers, and overall happier human beings. By the way, if you're new here, don't forget to download Bodyweight first, our free guide, which is how I got my best results in the beginning, link below. The first one is making quality time for yourself. This can look different for different people, but for me, it's a mix of two things. A, time when I can consume something educational or simply something I enjoy. I'm not talking about doom scrolling here, but something basically stimulating for the mind in a positive way. And B, time free from all input and information where I can allow my mind to wander so my brain can breathe and make creative connections and figure out solutions later on. The second thing is pushing yourself hard through physical activity for at least 3 to 4 hours a week, so you not only have a healthy outlet for all the tension that tends to pile up, but you also have a project that happens to also be healthy for you that is just about you. If you're a working dad, then you definitely know what I'm talking about. That said, time is limited at this age, which is why I recommend you combine both of these habits into one, which actually makes them even more effective since nothing helps you focus and at the same time clear the clutter in your head like training alone. This is why I'm not a big fan of working out at the gym and why I prefer training in the outdoors and at home, especially earlier in the day when it's a lot more peaceful. So if this resonates with you and you're curious on how I structure my week to do all this, keep watching. Day 1 is a mix of rocking and calisthenics, a very simple workout I like to start my week with that gets me outside in nature, gets my heart rate up, and also builds muscle. Walking with extra weight on you this way while going up a trail with a steep incline and stepping on awkward and unstable surfaces challenges your whole body from your ankles to your core and your back and trains that overall body capability that men start losing at this age. It also keeps you focused in the present since you're constantly paying attention where each step goes, for example, or you're also scanning your surroundings. In my case, there are often bears reported in this forest during the summer, so I have to be extra mindful. Now, as I start rocking, I'll begin to also squeeze in some easy push-up and pike push-up sets along the way to start warming up for my first exercise, which are handstand push-ups. Right now, I'm following a plan that cycles volume, intensity, and rep ranges from week to week. So for more info on that and exactly how many sets and reps I like to do, you can watch my video on that topic, which I'll include above and at the end of today's video. Once I'm done with my handstand push-ups, I move on to my next exercise station, which is intentionally a few minutes away. This way, I'll get more steps in cardio while also giving my upper body some rest. Once I arrive there, I'm gonna do an easy warm-up set and follow that with weighted pull-ups, which is the goal of this week, followed also by a drop set without any weight during my final round. Now, one of the rules of this workout is to always be on the move, keeping my heart rate up, which is why I'm always walking in between sets and exercises. The only time I basically stand still is when I'm done with each exercise and I make sure I note down my performances so I don't forget about them. Keeping a detailed training log this way is key if you want to make progress with strength and muscle, and you want to always remember that the main goal is to get a little bit better, a little bit stronger than last week, or if you're more advanced, at least every month. If that's not the case, then something definitely needs to be adjusted in your workout plan. Now, regarding that personal quality time I talked about in the beginning of the video, what I do during this workout is on my way up, I'm usually listening to an audiobook or educational podcast, but on the way down, when most of the hard work is over and my mind is more at peace, the earbuds come out and it's time for just me, the trail, and my own thoughts. By the way, if you're not lucky like me and you don't have access to a beautiful place like this forest close to your home, I get it that it's hard to schedule this kind of workout on a working day, but I do highly recommend that you do something like this at least once a week on a more relaxed Sunday or Saturday. Although I can only afford to train seriously 4 times a week at the moment, I still have a movement and an exercise related goal on a daily basis, which I write down in my training log. This keeps me intentional with making sure I'm not a complete chair potato during the rest of the week. For example, Tuesday is my busiest day since I spent over 10 hours sitting behind the screen for work. Therefore, to make sure that at least my step count doesn't suffer on these days, I start my morning with a 15-minute walk. Next, during work hours, I try to get at least 2 10 to 15-minute walking breaks. And lastly, at the end of the day, I'll aim for a big stroll, ideally with the rest of my family, which gets me up to a total of 10,000 steps a day. Also, another thing that I've added during these days is passive hanging, since this is one of the best ways to reverse what that office hunched posture does to your shoulders and spine. Wednesdays start with what I call max effort supersets of chest dips and Romanian deadlifts. Chest dips are the upper body squat and one of the best exercises to build a rugged, muscular chest and strong shoulders. Romanian deadlifts are one of the best exercises to bulletproof and strengthen your lower back and grip so you can lift heavy stuff off the floor. Definitely a key exercise for keeping your body capable in the long run. And if I'm not pressured with time, I'm gonna load my bar for my Romanian deadlifts. Otherwise, I'll use my adjustable dumbbells since these are a lot easier to set up. Once I'm done, I switch to either a ring or a dumbbell row. And I'm gonna end my workout with supersets of ab wheel rollouts and lateral shoulder raises. On Fridays, I follow a secret program that blends conditioning and some muscle building. This allows me to get plenty of exercises within a short amount of time, making sure I leave no stones unturned in terms of muscles and movements covered during the week. Ideally, I like to perform this routine outdoors, although usually due to time limitations and being practical, I do it at home. Now, if you're a beginner, what I want to mention here is how circuits aren't the best tool for building muscle or strength, since the short resting periods don't allow you to push each set as hard as needed to maximize muscle growth. But what circuits do really well is improve your work capacity, which is your ability to keep training hard even when you're tired and gassed out at the same time without beating up your joints, something I find to carry over into long-term strength and muscle building goals really well when used no more than once a week. Not to mention how it builds that all-round kind of fitness that carries over into everyday life. Speed is one of those qualities that you start losing really fast after 30 and even faster after 40, so I make sure I work on these at least once a week. Being able to run fast doesn't just feel awesome, but it's also a key emergency skill you want to be able to rely on at any time. Either you want to run fast away from something, like that bear I hope I'm never going to come across on Mondays, or towards something like, let's say, your kids. Which, by the way, as I'm currently learning, always seem to have a death wish the moment they learn how to walk. Usually I prefer doing these twice a week, but right now I'm following a more upper body focused training cycle. This is another thing to keep in mind if you're, over 35, over 40, which is how you can't improve at all things simultaneously when you no longer have the free time and the energy you had in your early 20s. Therefore, having specialized training periods when some things are more on maintenance and others are trained harder is a really, really good strategy if you want to keep making progress. Here, after I warm up really well, I'll be mixing single-legged deficit squats with calf raises and hill sprints with the extra resistance of a tire being dragged behind me, which I like to remove at the end of my last round when my legs feel fried, but I still want to get a nice, fast final sprint. Some final thoughts here. Just because this plan works for me, that doesn't mean that you should copy it as it is. It's important to start where you are based on your training level, goals, and what makes practical sense to you. If you can't do 4 hours a week, keep in mind that you can still get pretty good results from 3 hours, as long as they're, again, targeted. There's a well-thought plan behind these. And as long as your diet, again, and your recovery are also on point, given enough time, and you can really look amazing, but even more importantly, feel amazing, whether you're 30, 40, or even 50. That was all for today. Until next time, keep on training.